Namaste and welcome to the Curvy Yogini Spotlight. Today we have Tatjana Kowand. Hi, Tatjana.
Hello, how's everybody? Namaste.
Wonderful. Namaste. Thank you so much for agreeing to be interviewed. Okay.
Oh, my pleasure.
Right. So, Tatjana, tell us, how did your yoga journey begin?
Oh, my yoga journey began way back in my teens. I'm 52, just turned 52 this week. I started wanting, knowing, hearing about yoga when I was about 14, 15, 16. But I live in like one of the northernmost capital cities in North America, and really I had no idea where to start. And so I went to the library and got a few books on that, and um, it just tweaked my interest. But I've always been a searcher spiritually. Even like I remember, like 7 and 8 years old, I knew there was something deeper, stronger, fuller for myself. And it wasn't church per se for me. It was something more massive and far more important. And but I wanted my body to be a part of that. It's like I knew it. I just didn't know what it was called.
Right.
And so, yeah, so it was very interesting. As I dabbled a little bit, and seriously, it was not until I was 39 years old that I found my teacher. Um, I've been searching and searching and searching, and finally, there was an ad in the paper, and it just spoke to me, and I knew that's where I needed to be, and I showed up, and it was a community league, cement floor, cold, but she was my guide. She was who I was looking for, and so yeah, I started yoga at 39 years old, and that's a physical asana practice of it. And so that was my beginning.
And what inspired you to keep coming back to classes?
I was inspired by the fact that I felt so connected to myself, to my body. I've gone through my life being different size vessel at different times. And I just needed something that it was something that made me feel good, like within myself. Both like the whole mind, body, spirit aspect of it all was just something that I connected to, and I felt strong within it, and that's what kept me going back to classes all the time. And I just enjoyed the learning of it, the philosophy that she would bring into it, the other aspects that were just not just physical. And it was just an amazing community of women that I connected to of all ages too. That's what kept me going.
Awesome. And a lot of people, what they're seeing of yoga today, besides it being just kind of one size, they don't understand that it's not just being really flexible and putting your leg behind your head or doing handstands all over the place. It's really about a mind, body, spirit connection. And for me personally, yoga is the only physical practice that I've ever been able to sustain because it helped me to just kind of look at my thoughts and then, look at my emotions without judgment, and just knowing that I could be who I was. It just really kept me coming back. So, Tatjana, if you think about your first real good Shavasana moment, think about when you're in that final pose and you're reflecting on your practice. Where were you and what came up for you?
The only memorable moment that I have, and it was my defining moment in Shavasana. I don't know how many years back it was, maybe 10. My teacher was a lovely Korean lady. She was in her 60s, and I adored everything about her, like her, just everything that she gave forth. And she was she was a singer at the same time. She sang a lot of opera, and we were in Shavasana, and we're all facing in towards each other in a circle. And she played Diva Pramal.
Oh, love her.
Yeah, Om Namah Shivaya. And I fell apart. physically, emotionally fell apart. It started so small, and then the tears just flowed and just kept flowing and flowing and flowing. I'd never had anything so profound happen to me in a yoga class or anything else before. And it wasn't, they were just such tears of relief and connection. And that was it. I mean, I was seriously so connected to everyone and everything and every sound and every moment. And that's where I belonged, right there.
Awesome, awesome. And yeah, I've talked to a lot of my yoga friends, and I've had just very rare experiences like that, where all that practice and in that quiet moment, it was just like I'm alive, I'm here, I'm in a community, I'm around love, and I think that people that skip shavasana, and I see that a lot. I'm like, you're missing the best part, and after all that work, you're missing the best part.
It's so true. I've started teaching family yoga, and I have one family that I teach to, and they have two children. The girl is, I think, 8, and the boy is 11. And it's so funny because these kids are orangutans through the whole thing. And then I say, oh, time for your favorite. It's only been 4 classes that they've had. But on class 2, that little girl, she already had herself set up in Shavasana in her pose with her bolsters, with her blanket behind her, with her eye pillow on, and she was like in it, right? And I love that. And her mother said, never does she just calm down. Never does she want to even go to sleep. And she's not sleeping. She's fully aware, but I can tell by her breath that she's so relaxed. And it's like the most incredible, wonderful moment to watch that, right? And to have an 8-year-old who has become so connected to that, and who will not be leaving Shavasana in any class she ever goes to.
Awesome. And I always think, kids make the best yogis. We just have to be patient and know that, their practice is not going to look like ours, but we're really instilling this sense of peace and awareness in them at a very young age so that they can grow with it. And I always
Yeah.
look at my kids like, listen, I want to start you now so you won't have to be, in your late 20s and 30s trying to cultivate self-love. So, yeah. And
Yeah.
speaking of love, how does yoga help you to love and celebrate your body?
Well, I'm human like anybody else, and I've fought this body over many years, um, never feeling quite good enough in it. Um, right from childhood on, when there was nothing that was, not that there's anything wrong now, but there was nothing wrong then. And there was nothing to make people assume there was something wrong, and it just, but the messages came in. So I fight with that every day. There's days when I really do not love myself, my body very much. But the more I'm connected to my breath, to not even so much the asana, but seriously to my breath, the more I sense the importance of me, of every living cell within me, and the strength within me, emotionally and physically. Um, it's one of those things where it took me a long time to find that I was okay within myself. And yeah, would I like to be a couple pounds down or whatever? Sure, but I am so done with diet and feeling badly of myself that truly, I have this incredible gift of self. I was given this by the divine, and I am divine. We all have this incredible divine light within us, and that's what I try and teach every day, that regardless of, we're perfect within our imperfections. There's no such thing as perfection. We're bombarded by all these images of so-called perfection that have been perfected by digital, by computers, by everything else. So these women that we perceive as being the ultimate imperfection still aren't perfect enough.
Right.
And I don't want that to be our young girls growing up. It was bad enough that it was me growing up, And so I look at that every day, and I look at the young girls. I have a niece who's going to be 15, and she makes me look at myself differently and think that I am perfect
Yeah.
in my imperfections,
And
you know?
said so much, and it's amazing to do this with such wonderful women because I feel like a part of my story is in everyone else. Of course, in a perfect world, we'll love what we see in the mirror every day, but the reality is some days you may be feeling good and looking good through your eyes, and other days it's like, yeah. And on those days that I'm like, don't look in the mirror because I want to have a good day and I don't want to judge, I do get into the breath. I said my breath is flowing, and that flowing is that energy, and that energy helps me to feel good and alive. So yoga is not just about the asanas. It's really full circle, mind, body, and spirit. So there's some days who feels like doing asana every day. Well, there are some people, but for the rest of us that are like, we can still do our yoga by getting into the breath and getting into the meditation and just cultivating self love and awareness. And it's sad because whether your body is a size 2 or size 20, we always have something that we're judging. It's always something that we're judging. I've never met a woman or a man for that matter that has said I love everything about my body. It's always little this, little that, could use a little lift and tuck and that. But yoga's a great tool, like you said, just get into yourself and get into the breath. Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I'm glad you mentioned that about men too, because we consider it simply a female issue, but it's not. Men have these so-called media images around them all the time too, where it's like the six pack and everything else, and I know my man sometimes feels a little bit less than too, and and in my eyes he's absolutely perfect, right? And in his eyes I am, but we don't see each other with those eyes all the time, or ourselves with those eyes. So it's as important for men as it is for women, definitely.
Yes, yes, yes. So, what is your favorite asana? What is your go-to asana? That asana that if you could only do one, what would that be?
Oh, no doubt, pigeon. Um,
Everybody said pigeon. Everybody except one woman. Everybody says pigeon. Wait until you see these interviews. Everybody says pigeon. Okay, I'm gonna start loving pigeon.
and I don't know what it is because it's really, it can really be a very uncomfortable pose. But for me, my real life work is I'm a hairstylist, and so, that's my alter ego. I stand all day, and I have for 33 years, and so my hips tend to take a beating, after this time, and so I love that as my hip opener, my psoas strengthener, lengthener, stretcher. Mostly I love the melting into it, with or without bolster. I just love the feeling of just feeling so open, but so allowing into the earth. I just allow myself to just ground into the earth and just let it soak me up. And I can be there for a good long time, fold it over and whatever, but that really truly is mine. So it makes me feel good at the end of it by feeling a lot more open, stretching my my piriformis and all of those things, because it's so tight most of the time. I'm a belly dancer too, so that just sort of, so it tends to go whoa. The hips and the butt tend to be like whoa. But so yeah, that's my go-to, and I absolutely love it. It saves my life more than anything else. It does.
Awesome. I think I said it the last interview that the beautiful woman said, and you both all of you so eloquently spoke about pigeon pose, and my story with pigeon is a little different. It's not as it's not as encouraging, but what we're resisting in our life is something that we should actually look at head on. So I'm gonna put pigeon back into my daily routine. I do about 10 to 15 minutes a day when I can around my kids, more if I'm able to. So I'll put it back.
Well, because the thing is, we all have reasons for whatever. I'm complete, and so I should be doing these more, but I'm completely resistant to inversions. Like I don't mind headstand, but I just cannot even think of putting myself in a handstand, you know. But I do like arm balances, like crow and, you know, that type of thing. But yeah, I tend to be resistant to some other things. And as you said, that's where we need to, like, you know, take a look and really try and figure out what it is that we're resistant to, what aspect of that pose is creating that, or in our life that is creating that. So, but yeah, that's funny. That's funny that everybody said pigeon.
Wait till you see the interviews. That's everybody. I think it was just one beautiful woman that didn't say it, but
I'm looking forward to it.
So meditation and asana practice go hand in hand. What does your meditation practice look like?
I have a really crappy meditation practice, actually. I'm not, I'm not, I'm not, my meditation practice is simply to take 10 minutes out of my day and just sit. To just sit in stillness and just sit. If my cat and my dog are draped across me or whatever, it's okay. Everything's quiet and I sit and I breathe. And I usually can't do more than that. I fight it somehow. My head is usually in so many things, but it's so important to just do that. So, you know, I don't have a real guided meditation. I don't have a real specific anything, but I just have to be still for 5 to 10 minutes.
Tatjana, I think that's an awesome meditation practice. I actually teach meditation, and the first thing I do is dispel some of the myths. Like, it doesn't have to be an hour of perfect stillness, that when your thoughts come up, you want to look at them and then dismiss them. Just look at them and dismiss them. And when it becomes too stressful to do that, then just end the meditation. So I think just being still for 10 minutes a day, that's awesome. You can meditate in 1 minute. I used to do my red light meditations. I used to work very far away from my home, and I would have like this traffic anger. And whenever there was a red light, I would just breathe in and breathe out. And then by the time the light changed, I was good to go.
That's true too. And, you know, and I mean, I guess, again, the part of my personality is I always want to be better at, right? And I always want to do like the proper, or in my head, the proper meditation. And that's part of my journey in learning, is that it's okay. What you're doing is okay, right? So as I said, you know, we all have stuff, and there's always more lessons to learn, and that's mine.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
And yoga is a great way to learn those lessons.
Amen to that. It is too.
So how do you take your yoga off the mat? How do you take those things that you've learned about yourself and take it out into your world?
Oh, certainly, because I deal with people all day long. I have learned to be kinder. I'm definitely more patient. I'm definitely less judgmental than I used to be. I used to be a really sad person, I think, before yoga, like in my early 20s. I think I was a perfect 20-year-old in the sense of I was so self-absorbed, I was so self-consumed, and I had no patience for anyone. I had, you know, nothing. But on my path, what changed about me was I'm able to let a lot more things go in my life. I don't hang on to as many things that are meaningless, in the sense of emotions that are meaningless, and I have been able to set more boundaries with myself, which is healthier relationships with other people. But certainly in my work, you know, that is one thing I think to a T. If you would ask people, my clients who are my friends, you know, if you would ask them one of the aspects of what makes me who I am, and they would say that I am kind. And that has really it's a really big thing for me every day to be kind to people. It's definitely something I make a point of, and I notice it when I'm not. when I'm short, when I'm, any of those things. And and that's to everyone. I want to be, kindness just goes so far. And, whether it's a smile to the person standing in the rain at the bus stop, or um, I find certainly in public service of like retailing and whatnot, people get down on a lot of public workers, like the teller at Walmart or whatever. And it's like they have a really hard day dealing with miserable people all day. So if I can be the one kind, hi, how are you? How are you today?
Yeah.
Then that makes my day. It's not about me being a better person that way, but it's me giving it out to other people. And that's what yoga's done for me. It has made me softer.
Awesome. And the practice, it just makes us more aware of our actions, aware of our thoughts, and it makes them, for me, it makes it really loud. So instead of me going a week being nasty to people and not realizing it until like a week later, we feel it right away. And then we can either we can do something to change it. So if you recognize it and it's right there in your face, you can change it. And it's amazing how doing that work on the mat helps to increase our self-awareness.
Yeah, so true. That's exactly it. It's the awareness of, what we do on a daily basis, how we react to things, what we let ourselves react to. To just become aware of all those things. And it doesn't mean it's going to change right away, but the awareness, creates the change along the line. So that's all we can ask for is awareness to start, definitely.
Tatjana, are you involved in any SEVA efforts, any community service?
I'm not it's something I'm always looking for. It's something I'm always wanting to do. I'm about to embark on a complete life change. I'm moving to a completely different city in a couple of months, and so my work is going to be different just because I won't be working as a hairstylist full time. I'm hoping to incorporate more teaching of yoga, and what really moves me is yoga and recovery. I want to really get involved in helping people that are in any form of recovery, but also as a curvy yogini, I think that in and of itself has become a bit of a service to people who've not had the opportunity to experience yoga within their bodies. A larger bodied person or a curvy person, more often than not, has felt intimidated by and afraid of going to classes and, being part of a community. And so that is such a big part of it for me, is to bring that sense of community to women who hide themselves more often than not. To open that to them and to make them feel more alive and more accessible and more acceptable and accepted. And that is just, so that's been the beginning of it for me. And that's something I hugely want to continue in a place that doesn't have, I think, but maybe one or two teachers who teach, an adaptive form of yoga or yoga for curvier or larger people. So that's truly my path. That's what I want to bring to them. It means so much to me. And I've heard within my classes and in my adaptive classes, I have people of all ages and shapes and sizes. But, one day, here's judgment. A beautiful, lithe 22-year-old ballerina-looking girl comes into my class, and everyone's just sort of thinking, what is she doing here? And 2 classes later, she comes up and says, thank you. I said, oh, of course, but for what? Right? And she said, for allowing me to feel accepted. And, so there went judgment on everyone's part, including my own, but we just assume that everyone feels too small, feels good about themselves, and they don't. And if I can bring that to people that we know, it's a demographic of society that we know is shamed on a continual basis and feels shame, and perhaps so many people, myself included, um, come from backgrounds of perhaps some form of abuse, sexual or otherwise, and that is a lot of what we do to ourselves afterwards in creating, these bodies. And not necessarily, but in my case it is, in many women's cases it is, and it still becomes a way of hiding ourselves and therefore feeling worse about ourselves. So this has brought me to myself, knowing that I'm perfect as I am and nothing is my fault as far as what may have happened, and that I am desired and desirable in a healthy manner, and that my body is strong in a healthy manner. And so if I can give that to women who have gone through things as such, then I feel good.
Yeah. And it's really needed. It's really needed. And, again, we don't know how someone is viewing themselves through their eyes.
Right?
We're looking at them through our reality,
That's
and we're
right.
not looking at them through theirs. So you never know. You just never know. But this message will be passed on. Yoga is self-love. Yoga is
It
not
is.
about the physical body. It's about the spiritual body, the emotional body, the heart. And this is where it comes from. And this is what keeps
Oh,
us practicing.
absolutely. It truly does. It truly does. And it's, and if we can, create some of that self-love. I mean, I tend to do self-love workshops whenever I can, and that just resonates with so many people, and it's just so important, so important. The beginning of it for so many people, men and women, and it's the beginning of just being able to just perhaps have that shavasana moment of release, right? And knowing that maybe this is my space, maybe this is the perfect space for me. Yeah.
So who inspires you?
All of you. Seriously, every single beautiful, strong, amazing woman that I have been so blessed to encounter and keep encountering through these wonderful small moments of connection in Facebook and all this social media, and connecting with one woman creates a wonderful ripple effect, and connecting with other women, and I'm so inspired, more so every single day, and so excited at the thought that we are creating such an incredible revolution of love and acceptance, and a gift of this love to everybody else. And when we have it within ourselves, it makes everyone else's life around us better. But I am just inspired by women every single day. I'm inspired by the schoolgirls in Nigeria. I'm inspired by single mothers who are fighting every day to raise their children and raise themselves up. And I'm inspired by, seriously, every single woman on this planet inspires me. I want to save and help everyone, including myself. But it touches me so much to know that we are such a wonderful community of strength and beauty.
Yeah.
And if it weren't for women, just we're what's going to keep this planet alive and going. And it is through each other and our connection to each other that is going to lift love up. That's
Yeah.
it.
It's beautiful. I'm just,
Thank you.
I'm
I'm
so
crying.
and I've been holding it back all day. I mean, it's just like it's right there. Because I was like, when I start crying, I mean, everything is messed up. The eyes are swollen immediately. So, but it is, and I am thankful to divine energy, God, spirit, to be able to do this work, to be able to spend time with beautiful, inspiring women such as yourself. And I thank you for taking the time to sit down Time is precious. It's precious, and I thank you for helping me to spread this word of self love, self acceptance, and just growing, just growing. So,
Oh,
Tatjana, have you finished this sentence for me? I love my curves because.
they provide such a safe place to fall.
Awesome.
They really do. For myself, and for those that love me and need me or don't. But they do. I am open to holding everybody, and that's exactly it. They provide a safe place to fall.
Awesome. Now, do you have any studio information that you'd like to share with everyone?
At the time, absolutely not. Only because I'm in such transition. But I can be found on Facebook at Tatjana Yoga, and if anyone wants to know anything or ask me anything, I'm there. You can reach me anytime, and I'm more than willing to chat or provide any information or any questions. Um, I don't have much for guidance and wisdom necessarily, but I think we can all help each other out. And I'm so grateful to you, Dana, for doing this, for doing these wonderful interviews, and for choosing me to be a part of this. It's such an incredible honor. So I'm just so blessed. I'm just so blessed to be able to have just found that and responded, and here I am, and I get to share this with all these incredible women, including yourself above all, and I truly am honored and blessed to be here, to be a part of this wonderful community.
Thank you so much. I
Thank
appreciate
you.
you. And thank you for everyone that took the time to listen to this wonderfully inspiring interview. Check us out on Facebook, YesYogaHasCurves.com. Online, Facebook, Yes Yoga Has Curves. And online, YesYogaHasCurves.com. The book's coming out at the end of June, so we'll be in print.
Yay!
Well, thank you so much again, Tatjana, and everyone. Have a blessed day. Namaste.
Namaste. Thank you, Dana.
All right.
Blessings to you and all.
Blessings.
Peace out.